Last night on The Flash, Team Flash set out to save him, while over on Earth-1, Jay and Caitlin set out to stop Geomancer. And the episode ended with us asking more questions than ever. First up, it occurred to me that last week I didn't actually talk about the goings-on of Earth-1. I focused mostly on Earth-2. So last week's episode featured Jay taking Velocity 7, although it didn't last long enough for him to stop Geomancer. This week, Caitlin got all the way up to Velocity 9, which did give Jay his speed back briefly, but it didn't last that long, although it did last long enough for him to heal, at least for the moment. Caitlin finally got to take down a meta when she used Cisco's fancy gun on Geomancer. Velocity 9 in the comics, at least as far as I can tell, isn't a good thing. It is more like a drug, but here on the TV show Flash, it does seem to at least be a good thing. Alas, we probably aren't going to learn its long-term effects. We also met Iris' new boss, and he sure seems to be antagonistic to Iris. Doesn't seem like he's the Flash's biggest fan, and she is, so... Grant is having a fantastic week getting to play two Barry Allens. Earth-2 Barry feels like a Clark Kent-esque alter ego so no one knows he's Superman, complete with the glasses. I mean, every actor with a doppelganger on the show so far has gotten to play these roles differently, but the two Barrys feel less like polar opposites a la Caitlin and Killer Frost, and more like brothers whose lives took very different turns. Plus, he gotta give a pep talk to himself. Yes, I know that this show relies on pep talks a little more than it should, but this week it was kinda the best. Leave it to me to give a pep talk to myself. Also, Aquaman was 100% probably confirmed this week since Earth-2 Iris and Barry have family on Atlantis. While I am sure she was talking about Barry's parents, they do have Batman, the Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman on speed dial, so I'm sure they know Aquaman and consider him family too. Now, I can't talk about this episode without talking about the ending. Jay, come on, man. Why are you standing so close to the breach? I initially thought he would just get sucked in as it collapsed on itself, but then Zoom's hand reached through him and pulled him back in. Didn't see that one coming. Also, does this mean Jay is dead? Like, dead? Because I don't know too many people who can have a hand reached through their chest and live to tell the tale. As for all the questions we were left with, the biggest one has to be who the masked man in the other cell was. We know little about him aside from the fact that he has been there longer than Jesse, and he tapped out Jay on the glass, meaning Jay Garrick, although that just seemed to upset him. But other than that, we don't know much. I'm not going to speculate on who this person is, because that is a surefire way to be wrong, and I don't have enough information to make that kind of call. Thankfully, we did learn that Earth-2 Barry isn't Zoom. That was a fear of mine. But we still don't know who Zoom is. The speculation online ranges from Earth-2 Henry Allen to Jay Garrick to some sort of weird Speed Force clone to Eddie Thawne from either Earth, and then some. But just like the masked man, I don't have enough facts to come to any kind of conclusion. My personal hope is that Zoom is a nobody. That when he takes off his mask, we have no idea who he is because he is just a nameless, faceless monster. I know it's not the comic book way, but I truly think it's the best way. Not that any of it matters, because the writers already know who Zoom is, and I'm sure he connects to Barry in some way. I'm going to end this episode with two things. First, Cisco's line. He's a bad guy, I'm calling it a lair. And second, the Flash logo at the end of the teaser for next week's episode had been redone to look like Jaws. It was a nice laugh after the way the episode itself ended. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.